Good afternoon, Weirdos at Home. Thank you guys for jumping on and joining us.
This is going to be a fun one. This is Tara Brown, the heart and soul of the Weirdos at Home. Different background this week. Don't let it throw you off. Different, more legitimate background for more legitimate guests. It's a move the show is making on purpose.
Level
we
up.
talk to the studio. I'm kidding. We do this out of our apartment. Today, my name is Sam Slade Still. I am so stoked about this. Not Stone Slade. We'll do that in a couple weeks. Smoke them if you got them, right? Okay. Enough. Phranchyze, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we nailed it. We got him on the show. I go back with this guy 20 years. Met him in 2001.
Man.
In a newly post 9/11 world where we were definitely not hunkered down, worried about terrorists, because JJ was standing in the middle of the locker room explaining us what was wrong with the NBA as a 17-year-old.
Y'all had all the answers. Well, welcome. We're so happy to have you.
What's up, guys?
If you are not familiar, he is a local boy, local musician, local artist, local legend.
I mean, I'll be honest, it's getting kind of ridiculous watching it from the sideline. I mean, this guy's he's had more profiles. You notice out of all the guests who are like, please don't go on about my credentials and my credits, JJ's like, yes.
You earned it.
Continue to shower me with
well, I was gonna say, the guy's had more fucking Chronicle profiles done on him than Beto O'Rourke. I swear to God. You just Google Phranchyze and Zealy and Blackillac. Next thing you know, I mean, more Rolling Stone articles than you know what to do with. You can see Zealy and Phran, Blackillac, tomorrow night or tomorrow at the 27th, Tuesday, at the Blues on the Green special 30th anniversary Gary Clark Jr. lineup, who is he was in Blackillac when they debuted at the NBA All-Star Weekend a couple years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, craziness, right? Craziness.
Crazy. I remember specifically that locker room because I remember Gary was over basketball and you were talking like, we needed to be auditioning for a spot in your entourage once you got to the league. And all I was doing was just trying not to get dunked on by either one of these guys. That was my only motive.
Sam was no easy buckets. No easy buckets. Slade. He's coming across and he's coming hard, and you're gonna have to get fouled, and you gotta make it because he's gonna foul you. He's definitely gonna foul you.
Yeah. I was. You would consider it a modern day Bruce Bowen, if you will.
Hold on. So I have to explain something. I did not know Sam until about 2 years ago.
Okay.
We first met.
Right.
We've lived together through a pandemic now for about a year. He's clumsy,
yes,
uncoordinated. And yet he has all these stories about the old days in basketball and how
legends, if you will.
Baby, it would blow your mind away to see.
How many of them does Phran show up in? Phran shows up in many.
Here's the connection.
I mean, our mutual friend.
He was
His wife won't believe. She will say it to my face, "You never played anything," and I'm going, "Guys, I don't know."
Yeah, no, you played basketball. He was a scrappy little guard. Played a little bit of one, a little bit of two. Nice little defense. Not a great shooter, but definitely could play some defense.
Oh, it is on now. It is on now. That's it.
I've been hearing otherwise. I fear there's like a 30-point game tape going around.
I think he had a couple maybe like summer league games where he kind of went off a little bit. I think I remember the couple of those.
I'm fucking busted. Friends like, no, we've all heard the summer league stories.
Yeah, couple Waya games where he went off. I think, yeah.
Well, Waya's just rec league for those not in Austin. Yeah. Anyways, I thought this show was going to go a little different, but
we're roasting you.
Yeah.
Going the way it's meant to go.
Apparently so. And to take only 10 minutes for the show, Tara was like, I think I will do the episode with Phran. I'll see what's up. So we've come a long way to Phran headlining nearly Blues on the Green tomorrow night. Tell us about that. Who all is going to be there? How did this come about? For those who don't, who got too much other shit going on, Phran, how did this all roll out with you and Zealy? And because you guys used to be more of rivals, and then you make the super group with Gary. I don't know.
Well, I think just kind of going back, I'll give you, we got time. I'll give you the whole story. Why not?
Yeah.
So when we first began our careers, we actually were a group. We didn't have a name or anything, but we performed together, and we didn't really release any music. We just had a bunch of songs that we wrote that we would perform together, and like songs that like almost like we basically what we would do is I would come up with like a random hook and just remember it, and we would just freestyle the verses. Okay, and so we did that for a while. We did that for a while. We never like was never anything official, and we would go like to different cities and do that. Like we had a residency, it's like a weekly residency in San Antonio with a live band just doing that when I was probably like we were like 20 early 20s, like 21, 22. And so then he came to me and was like, look, I want to do my stuff by myself. I don't want to be in a group. And I was like, okay. And so he started doing kind of his thing, and then I started kind of doing more of the battle thing. And so we did that for a while. I started doing my solo stuff too. We kind of did our solo thing. He toured with Imagine Dragons. I toured with like Snoop. We kind of did rap music, but like different ways.
Right.
And I kind of was not really focused on music for a while, for about like a 4 or 5 year period. I had my 2 kids. I was married.
You're doing dads.
And so I was like, all right.
You were doing real life.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, had a good time, but we gotta do it, we gotta make sure these kids are okay, so I worked for a while, wasn't really doing music, was kind of doing a little stuff here and there. I'll pop up and do a couple songs, but nothing real serious, you know what I mean? And so we went to go see Gary at Paramount, because throughout this time I would still go hang out with Gary.
Right.
I would go take vacation, or I would take time off and go hang out with Gary. During my solo career, I would go hang out with Gary. So we had that relationship from, obviously we all grew up together. Right. So we went to go see him at Paramount. It was me, Zilly, Gabe Luna, and Gary. And man, he played a show. We were all chilling, and he was like, "Man, I got all these beats that I've been making," because they had just come off the tour. And so I was like, "All right." And so we went to the W, and we just had all this pizza, and we just ate all this pizza and listened to like all these beats. He played us a lot, like a couple, like 100 or something, like a lot. Yeah. And so the next thing you know, we were like in the studio, like recording some songs, and it's still me. I'm still working. I'm still like, yeah, whatever. Like, this will be fun. Maybe we can get some like licensing deals out of some of the songs, a couple of the songs, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like still not like really. And then we played a couple shows together, me and Zilly, without Gary. We put our first show with Gary.
Right.
And then we played a few shows out him, and we did like our first South by as a group, and we're still not even Blackillac yet. Okay. And man, I don't know what happened, bro. It just took on a life of its own. I guess it's cliche, it just took on a life of its own, and it just started getting bigger, and we started getting requested for more shows and more shows and more things. And it just kind of just grew into its own thing. And, I was still working, and we went on the Missio tour, which was like a 6-week, like 29 city tour. And we were playing like festivals in between, like while we're on the tour. And I asked my job for the time off. They gave me the time off, and my boss was like, "Hey, if you take this much time off again, I don't know if you can come back." And then right after he told me that, my manager's like, "We got 10 dates in Canada. Like, what are you going to do? What do you want to do?" And I was like, and at that point, what do you do? You can't, it's not me. I can't tell the group, we can't go get this money because I got to go to work.
This is your almost famous moment, right? You got to get on that bus.
Yeah. So we did it, and I quit my job, and that was 2.5 years ago. Man. And we've been going strong since then, man. COVID kind of threw a wrench in things, but we've been going strong since then. And then when I was still working, how we came up with the name Blackillac, we were doing the broadcasting for Longhorn Network, like the in-game hosting.
The EP game.
Yeah. So we started doing that, and that's because we weren't even really talking, not like in a mean way. We were just doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And that really brought us back together to where we had to like be around each other again.
And you're hanging out at games, and it's that basketball game atmosphere where it's just you're fucking around, you're having fun, you're with an old buddy. I mean, of course, it just brews up like fun, creative vibe,
Yeah. And sitting in the seats behind, I guess on the north, like the north goal, like sitting courtside, we were talking like in between filming, And he was like, because we were starting to do our thing a little bit. And he was like, what do you want to call it? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, we had some names and that didn't really work. And he was like, what about like Blackillac? I was like, bro, I don't care what we call it. Let's just call it something. Let's go get this money. I don't care, you know. And so that was kind of the origins of it, man. Here we are, you know, just kind of trying to do our thing. The Blues on the Green thing is a cool thing where they gave Gary a chance to kind of like curate the talent. And so we'll kind of be doing performances like with him. I actually have a rehearsal today to go. We'll be kind of playing with his band. And it's us, the Peterson brothers, Kid Jones. I'm forgetting. Somebody's gonna be so mad. I'm forgetting somebody. And Jackie Vincent. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like a thing where it's kind of like an Austin medley of Black talent.
And it's all, I love it. It's Gary's handpicked roster.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he wants to feature. You know, it's almost like they're letting whoever powers that be of music in this town, which I'm sure there's a struggle for that crown right now with everything going on. But I know Gary's sitting pretty high up on that list, and it's cool for him to be acting as like our Austin's own little Lauren Michaels when it comes to music.
I mean, he picked an amazing lineup. I will say though, before I knew that he had kind of handpicked, it seemed nothing was out of place for me. Like everyone kind of stands on their own.
Austin, dude.
I wouldn't have thought that like, oh, that's weird to see them doing this. Like I just was very surprised and also like happy to see.
Very cool angle to do.
Such a diverse like lineup.
And you guys, weren't y'all with Gary at Arlen Studios?
Yeah, that's our home studio. We recorded a lot of the early Blackillac stuff that, you know, at this point, I don't know, it's just like some of like the early like first recordings there. I recorded a lot of my solo stuff there. We do a lot of stuff there. That's definitely our home studio. That's where we're going to rehearse later. So
I mean, for folks who don't know, that's Willie Nelson's legendary studio in Austin.
Yeah.
We actually were talking to another guest. We'll have two in a row. Mark McKinnon was there working on somebody's country album a couple weeks ago.
That's right, yeah.
So Arlen is like, you don't just get to walk into Arlen, just play around. You better be good.
You have to come on our show.
Oh, and you also have to come on Weirdos and Know.
Yeah.
We did a deal with Arlen, by the way. Yeah.
Nice.
Willie keeps
We're the
forgetting.
gateway.
Shout out Lisa.
Hey, are you watching? I had to ask you a couple things because you're sports nut, and I know that
for sure.
Sports nut you are. Are you watching this Olympic basketball team?
Yeah, I'm watching it. But honestly, I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either. I'm
not surprised.
It's an interesting route to not have any big men or any centers on the team.
They're obsessed with small ball, dude. They really are. And you know, you have to think about it now, man. Like, if you say, okay, take the top 5 NBA players, 2 of them are not American,
right?
You know, and I think Patrick Ewing made a good point. He said the rest of the world's caught up.
Yeah.
You know, like the defensive player of the year was French. Right. You know what I mean? Like the MVP was Greek. You know what I mean?
In the Austin High locker room, if somebody would have told us defensive player of the year was French, somebody would have been added.
Frederick Weiss, like who? How? Like how is that even possible? Yeah, you know, the best player in the NBA, in my opinion, is from Slovenia.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
That's her favorite player, whatever. Right now,
whatever.
Him and
he'll never replace Shaq in my heart.
That's fair.
But exciting to watch. I'm from Dallas, so it's really like a sense of pride too. I just recently discovered another player on the Mavericks, Boban.
Boban.
Oh, Boban.
Boban the God.
We had a weekend watching nothing but Boban videos.
Marjanovic.
God,
Marjanovic.
He's how fun. I mean, it's like Shaq, but Borat. It's like such an interesting mix going on with Boban.
I could watch. He needs a reality show. That whole team, I would watch a reality show on.
You know who he is. Sam. You know who he is?
He's UNC.
He's George Mirson.
Yeah.
He's George Mirson.
Oh, he's Mirson too, but also USC.
Yeah, it's George Mirson.
They were kids. Remember the kid that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, oh yeah.
There was a special ed kid that somehow he was like 7 feet tall. And they let him play basketball, and everybody would say that he was already recruited by USC. But he ran like a bird, and he obviously did not have the cognitive ability to be out there on the court. And he was in none of our classes, so no one really knew where he was during the school day. But he was legit. I would have never thought of this had Phran not come on. But he's got to be like 7 foot, weighs about $115, and he's
not lying.
We were in a corner one time following JJ. And I guess they let him run with the older kids a little bit because he's so damn tall, and he was recruited by USC. So, so I was following him. I was following JJ around some screen, and that kid was on my own team. So I'm going around him, and this sharp ass like Dracula elbow the kid had. I mean, just stabbed my eye out, and I fell down. I got Woody standing over me, sweating. Get up! And Phran,
Get up, Slade.
On the next kid. Fran's dunked on the next sophomore team. We're at the other end of the court.
Dude, his dad told the coaches, because they transferred from like Hyde Park or something, and his dad told Coach Ray, of all people, his dad told Coach Ray.
He said the 2 allegedly drunkest high school basketball coaches in history. So for you to tell them this, they would be like, "You do? Well, you're recruited by where?"
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Oh man. Oh.
It's crazy to think the first day I got there was the day Gary quit the team. Phran is just punching on people looking like Matt Tippett in '97. And then this Dracula's running around, be like, USC.
Oh, dude, I forgot about USC, dude. I totally forgot about him. What was his name? Scott? Was his name Scott?
Dude, I only knew him by USC and ow, that's my face.
But every once in a while, he would block somebody's shot. Every once in a while, he would block because he was huge, Terry. He was like 6'10".
But he had that bird flail.
Yeah. And every once in a while, he'd get you. You take him lightly, and he'd get somebody, and we would all go crazy.
God. He'd get in that scuffle.
Yeah. Because he didn't back down. That was the thing about
he wouldn't back down, but it was
he wouldn't go back down because he was bigger than you.
And it would make you more uncomfortable.
Yeah, he was big. Real big. Yeah. He'd shove you with them bird arms and be like, "Bro, don't touch me, bro."
And the other thing, I gotta mention, the same day I walk into this environment, I come home from Westlake, 9/11 happened like the Tuesday before, and I'm like in this new world, and they're like, "Yeah, we got more than one black guy in the team. In fact, you are not the fucking star, so go get dunked on."
Yeah, we didn't like him.
He's turning his stuff in. JJ didn't like me from the time I walked in with my dumb poopy shell necklace.
From Westlake, he was at Target. We were like, "Where'd you come from?" He's like, "Westlake." We were like, "Oh, word, okay." Every drill right at him. We go everything right at him. Everything right at him.
What he's telling you to do it too. Our coach and take it at him. Make him
quit. Make him quit.
Yeah. But what
I don't want to.
At the same time, GTO Scusi, our buddy Jeremy Troutman, is walking off the court going, "I didn't want to play for you anyways." No, you are. And you're going like, "Where am I? What is going on?" It's like police academy.
Hey, you know what Woody told us when he said you transferred from Westlake? Woody goes, I shit you not. Woody said this to us. Woody goes, "I want you to send him back to the country club."
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to send him back to old Barton Creek Country Club. We're like, word? He's like, yeah. We're like, all right.
Saying my old man could have got into Barton Creek Country Club if he paid somebody. His Rodney Dangerfield ass, he's on Last Street, baby.
Oh man. Dude,
that's so funny. I've never heard that side. And he was literally like, "Go get him."
Go get him.
You hear that?
You needed to hear that?
I was like, how does life seem so easy for you? Now I know it was.
But I never thought I wouldn't quit. I don't know if I was stupid or if I was brave, but it was a combination of both. Because you got to know, when we were 16, 17, JJ's already like 6'4" at that point, like 6'3.5". I mean, flying over people. I'm out there 5'9", not going to grow another inch. Yeah, you don't need to touch 57.
But you know what? Sam, the one thing about Sam would do the little stuff. He's going to rotate over on defense. You can count on him to be where he's supposed to fucking be. He's going to rotate. He's going to dive for loose balls. He's going to take charges. He's going to be active. He's going to steal the ball. And he kind of just found his rhythm. Like he take a lot of charges and he'd get the shit knocked out of him.
Yeah, I mean,
and we just be like, he'd get up and he wouldn't say shit. He'd get up, his mouth would be bleeding and shit, and he'd get up and he'd run his ass back down the other side of the court. We're like, all right.
This day, Phran, I appreciate that. I'm flattered to hear that compliment. That really was my only option on that team, with so many talented, bigger, older dudes. not country club white guys. Big change for me, but even to this day, Tara's like, "How did you get so many concussions playing basketball?" I was like, that was like my thing. That was what I was there for.
Yeah, yeah. One time, I'll tell you this story. One time, I don't know what got into him. I think I was probably just talking shit to him that day. We always just talk shit to Sam, and so I was probably just roasting him, and he got tired of it one day. And I had a fast break, and I was gonna dunk it on his ass, and he fucking took me. He pushed me. He shoved me like when I was in the air. He like shoved me into the wall, and I went flying into the wall. And I fucking threw the ball like they had it. That was the first week. Yeah, that was the first week. And I was roasting his ass, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to dunk on this fool again."
I mean,
and this fool shoved me into the wall.
Doing LeBron with that ball back.
Got to be on a
yeah. And he just shoves me, and I'm like, I'm trying to whoop his ass, because I had to switch schools because I got kicked out of the last school I was in for fighting. So I'm trying to beat his ass, and the coach just had to separate us. It was a thing, like the coach had to separate us. And but like after a while we started hanging out. He's a good guy,
Yeah,
I admired that he wasn't gonna let me score. I admired that. I was like, you know what, he's crazy, but I like that.
Oh, guys, that's probably that will be on the back of my book when I put it out. Phranchyze. He's crazy, but I like that. Oh man, I gotta tell you, we don't get to catch up too often, and it's so cool getting to see you and Zealy just fucking rock every crowd across the country. I know pandemic was unprecedented and difficult no matter what position you were in. But now, how charged up must you be getting ready to go back into playing live shows after 18 months of us sitting in our homes, dude? I can't imagine the way that your fuse must be about to fucking explode.
It's very exciting. The pandemic, we're a live act, we're a festival act, we're a touring act. That's what we do. And so the pandemic kind of forced us to kind of look at ways that we can elevate the brand differently when in the long run that was beneficial for us. But I'm really excited. We have a lot of really cool shows lined up. We just announced today the Waterloo Park show at the newly renovated Waterloo Park with Gary Clark. I don't know why I say Gary Clark. I can just call him Gary. Gary.
Who knows? Yeah.
We have some other dates that we've announced as well. A lot of the offers are coming in through our agents and our management. So I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get back on the road. I know that the people in this house are ready for me to leave. I'm usually gone a lot more, so I've been around the house a lot more. And my wife's like, are you leaving? Aren't you? I went to LA for a few days to do some promo for our new EP Green Room. And I was like, hey, need me to do anything before I go? She was like, no, go, leave, get out. go.
Yeah, just go. Just get out of here.
Get away from me.
I know guys like us who tend to run our mouth. The women who went through that pandemic with us definitely deserve gold medals. We've talked about this to comics from all over. Jerry Minor last week saying the same thing, like the fact that you guys were the real heroes.
You guys are the real heroes.
No, seriously, because there's nowhere to run. So it's like I'm watching Marvel Universe in chronological order, like telling her everything about every comic book character I know. I'm taking flyers on random anime and being like, well, you can't. Where are you gonna go? You gotta sit down with me and watch this. So yeah, no, definitely troopers for that. We appreciate that.
Well, it got to the point here where when it comes to politics, we sometimes clash, but from the same direction, same, just like in basketball, same team, but we different ideas about how to get to the progress. I ran my mouth so much during the Trump election. Tara ordered me a Morning Joe mug so that in the morning when I'm going off my rant, she'd be like, "Easy, Joe Scarborough, easy."
Yeah, dude. The level of ranting and the level of rants that I had, like to the pandemic portion. I know she's coming out. To the pandemic portion of Trump's presidency. That's a lot of P's. To the pandemic portion of Trump's presidency, the rants I had were so legendary. because it was, you know, like I'm like Sam is more reasonable. I'm pretty much a complete anarchist at this point. And so like the rants I had were just, and she had to listen. She had to be, and she's not political at all. She's just like,
Right.
mm-hmm,
Right. She's not right from
but
wrong,
hey,
but
you know,
it's Jason. It's like when we're going through it and we're watching all this. You know, Terry's a woman of color. And I'm like, can you believe Trump's doing this? And she's like, I don't know. I'm a Native American, and you're telling me the white man
yeah,
is fucking me over. Like, tell me more, white man.
Doesn't it hurt when someone lies to your face and then just does the opposite? That's
yeah,
crazy.
Go on.
yeah. I think that's one of the things, like, not to get too serious, but that's one of the things that I think, you know, because my wife was white, I'm black, and I think that's one of the things where it was crazy to watch it happen, like how everything happened, but I wasn't surprised. You know what I mean? I was not surprised. I was more surprised at how the public responded than anything that Trump or like the government did. That's what surprised me. I was like, wow, people are really like focused in on this thing. But yeah, I wasn't like, it wasn't shocking. It's like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Fran, I'm still addicted to watching the dude stand up, and I know he nearly took the country, you know, to a place we can't ever come back from. Had a whole armed wing of militia try to invade the Capitol on his behalf. I don't know why it makes me sick to my stomach when I talk about it, I guess. But she will now have to come in. I'll be watching Trump stuff from like 2 nights ago when he's wherever ranting. She's like, no, he's not in this house anymore. No, he's gone.
I like to watch it too. I like to watch them too. And here's the thing, dude. The 2016 Republican debates, those are some of the greatest debates in the history of this country, dude. Because it just shows you, like, I think this is the one positive thing you can take from a Trump presidency is this. It's still, a person can still come out of nowhere, like Trump and Obama. Like that's the only hope that we have. A person can still come out of nowhere and be like, you're all full of shit, and we can vote for them.
James Tellerico, watch
like,
out.
That's the, because that was Trump's whole pitch when he was trying to get to the primary. He was like, okay, great, y'all are all taking money, you're all full of shit. Right. What's up? And everybody was like, he's got a point.
Yeah. And that was, to some extent, that was Bernie's deal too. Bernie had the same strategy where, you know, hey, you never heard of me because I'm just the weird old congressman, but guess what? I'm not Hillary's. And everybody was like, well, I'll listen to what you have to say if you're not Hillary.
Yeah. And they had to pull the Vince McMahon Montreal shit on Bernie for them to not have. Yeah. You know what I mean? They had to pull the rug out from under him. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see this transition because I don't think Trump's going to run again. I think he's going to extract money and say, oh, I might run, I might not. Give me $20. And then once he's extracted the money, he's going to say,
I'm going to run so big.
I told him, I said, now that he doesn't have Twitter or any of his social media accounts, these private social media that he keeps trying to start, failing over and over again, he's going to lose interest. He's not getting the praise. He's not getting the daily, what's it called?
You know, I've been recruited by
affirmation.
USC code.
Yeah.
I've been dopamine.
Recruited by USC, you know, and they said the best center there is.
I just don't, he doesn't have the best center. He does not have the attention span to
he doesn't understand
keep a campaign going for 4 years.
But can he fuel some real white terrorism? Well, sure he can.
Oh, yeah.
He can do that pretty well.
Their best bet is to try to run Junior or Eric's wife, but they won't because they're not him.
Right.
They're not him. You know, people want him. They don't want Donald Trump Jr. They don't want Eric's wife. They want him. And there's been talk like Eric, I think her name is, I can't remember her name.
She wants to run for Senate from North Carolina.
She's probably gonna win.
Yeah.
You know, I can see her winning that. You know, I don't think Junior can win anything. I think he's done.
Establishment, right? I don't think Don Jr. is coming back for anything. That's a moron. He can't keep his nose out of a
no, he's done.
Which sometimes that makes
he's done.
Sometimes it just makes you a fucking dickhead. And in this portion, it's the latter. But what I wanted to point out about the thing with the kids, Fran, is it was like the other day when I turned on the 2021 WWE Money in the Bank event. Okay, Rey Mysterio comes out, and his tag team partner is his son. Whatever his name is, I don't remember. But they start to
I
wrestle.
think it's
And the
Andrew.
thing, and very clearly, he is not his father. He is not Rey Mysterio. You know, Charlie Mysterio is not his father. So after a while, you're going, yeah, I'm sorry, I just can't get into it. You're not even going to lose an eye for me in this match. You know, Ray would spoon his own eye out for you. So it's the same deal. He has. And Don Jr. is not going to spoon an eye out to win that presidency. That's what I'm saying.
No.
No. And if you look at that kind of,
Yeah, go ahead. So sorry.
it's no, if you look at that thing like wrestling or sports, that's a perfect example. Like the father's legacy, you either outdo it, you know what I mean, or you underperform it. Very rarely do you carry on the same momentum.
Ever. Never.
You know, very rarely.
Jordan about that franchise.
Yeah, and Marcus. Hey, Marcus got a scholarship though. Marcus was at UCF. Hey,
that's what everybody said about Marcus Jordan. Everybody, we both started doing that. No, but Marcus can run. Marcus can run.
And I personally,
Ronnie might be pretty good.
So far, what has been your favorite? You'll have to come back later this summer, or once we get the world back more reopened, because we could go all day. What favorite Marvel series so far? Because we go back and forth. The one we just watched, what was it, Loki? That fucking blew my mind.
We haven't watched Loki. I'm really bad. We haven't watched Loki. We haven't watched WandaVision.
You're busy doing dad stuff.
Right. Yeah, but we've been watching Invincible, so it's kind of like we've been watching that. So I like to save things up and binge them. So I haven't really watched either WandaVision or Loki. We've been watching a lot of the Marvel movies, a lot of Pixar in this house, as you can imagine. We've seen Luca like 10 times. So I'll have to check out Loki because my son likes Loki a lot. My son's a big Loki fan, so maybe we'll start watching Loki.
I'll tell you what, these little Dewan McKillers and these little franchises running around, the world's gonna be a very different place come 10 years from now or so.
I say let's go.
Light Skin Mafia. Light Skin Mafia.
I'm dead.
Light Skin Mafia. Hey, don't you think I was trying to up? Come on, Fran.
Light Skin Mafia, dude. Me, Dewan, Gary, my boy Moshe, Light Skin Mafia, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna.
They're coming. All these kids are coming.
We're gonna have to find Ray Jimenez, a nice Nigerian woman, I think, if we're gonna keep this list going.
She'll put him in place. She will get him in tip-top shape.
Oh man, we'll have to find USC and introduce him to a Puerto Rican. Oh man, this has been so much fun. Thanks for coming on, dude. Hey, we're not going to close up yet. I want to point out again, tomorrow, Blues on the Green 30th anniversary, Phranchyze, Z-League, Gary Clark Jr., Blackillac. I mean, go, get out, go, get vaccinated, go see these shows. Go have fun again. Get vaccinated and go have fun. You deserved it.
Yeah, come on.
Fran, you're the fucking best, dude. Thank you for coming on. This was so much fun. 20
Thanks
years
for having me. I really appreciate
this dude, and it's always a good time.
You needed it today.
Thanks, man. Hey, I'll message you, all right?
Sounds good. Thanks, y'all.
Kill it.
All right. Good luck tomorrow and at rehearsal tonight. And everyone else, thank y'all for
Tell the guys hi for us, man.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.